Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, this is Whoopi speaking, and tonight I will do it only in English. The French people will have the result on the Conspiracy Science Forum. Okay, I will just remember you, it is the first result of my experiment with this all-in-one reactor. So you see here the thermometer, here the reactor with inside the cathode, this here the boiler, which is used for the heating and then controlling the wattage, and this is a small water mixing agitator. Okay, and I have made a first test now with all this spiraling here anode. Inside is a cathode of 2.5 centimeter of 2.4 millimeter diameter tungsten and lentan at 2%. Okay, now I will show you the results on a paper. We try to I will explain everything. Okay, I hope you can read it. Okay, the apparatus is the following. We have a jar with about 2 liters of, not about, it is 2 liters exactly of tap water. By me, in my house, it is pH 7.5. Okay. The electrolyte is, in this experiment, 0.05 molar of NaHCO3. This is a baking soda. The cathode is, as said before, tungsten, lentan, at 2% of lentan inside the tungsten. And the diameter of the rods is 2.4 millimeter, and we use only 2.5 centimeter of the 15th centimeter length. Okay, above these 2.5 centimeter there is a silicone tubing which prevents to go higher than 2.5 centimeter. The anode is inox screw rod. I have spiraled here with 12 spiral at 3 millimeter diameter. Okay, this is the apparatus. Now I have made 3 tests. The first test is the following. First, the reactor is on, and we go to the orange reaction. That is to say, I have to go up about at 250, perhaps more. The maximum about of my variac, it is necessary. And then we begin with small sparks, and suddenly, slowly, the tungsten rod becomes orange and then comes wider and whiter and whiter. If you go longer, you get the plasma ball. And it is not good because the plasma ball is eating really rapidly the tungsten rod. Okay, so as soon as the total length of this 2.5 centimeter gets the nice orange color, I go back down very fast, as soon as 250 volts about. And then at this moment the reaction begins slowly to get this nice small orange ball you see on the previous video. Okay, and then we can go back to the minimum power, but very, very slowly, progressively. You have to wait and to survey everything until you get it. And then, as soon as you have the minimum power, you can finally begin to the measurement. So you can see how much this 2 liters of water can stay with this power. Okay, and I have found that I can get on this apparatus 91.5 degrees. That is to say, it doesn't go under 91 grades, and it doesn't go higher than 92 degrees. Okay, so I have said here 91.5 degrees Celsius, and for this I need about 105 volts RMS. Okay, because my measurement machine is in a true RMS voltmeter. and for this I need 0.53 amps. So it is about around 56 watts. Okay. During this heat production, we get an Alex energy in the form of HHO bubbler. You have seen in the small glass inside the machine, there is some bubbles. Of course, we have also RF production, it is radio frequency, which are quite strong, I have to say, and a lot of vibration and noise. I cannot measure now the RF production and the noise here, because I have not the instrument for this. But the HHO bubbling, I can test. So I make this test too. And so I stop the reactor, and then so the reactor, okay. And then when I stop the reactor, what happened? It is everything is stopped, okay. And then I re-put some power inside, so I get the pure electrolysis at the beginning of this year. It is pure electrolysis, and I wanted to check at 91.5 degrees how much power I need to get around the same bubbling as here. And I found around that it was about 16 volts at 1.3 amps, around 21 watts. So we have 56 watts here to maintain this 91, but among these 56 watts there is some wattage here to only produce the HHO. Okay, let's go further. Okay, now the reactor is off and we make the test 3. I switch off the reactor and I switch on the thermoplunger, the pure electrical system. Okay. For this experiment, I connected the the thermoplunger directly at the bridge rectifier, exactly as the reactor. So I have not AC current on the thermoplunger, but a rectified AC, so it is a DC rectified on the thermoplunger. So I could use exactly the same instrument to make the measurement. So no difference between the reactor and the thermoplunger. Okay, my voltmeter is, I repeat, a true RMS. It is not a standard voltmeter. Okay, I paid a lot of money for that. Okay, and I found that I needed 116.5 volts RMS plus 0.635 amps. It is around 54 watts to maintain the 91.5 degrees Celsius in the jar. Okay. Now let's assume that the thermoplunger is not a fantastic one. It is a commercial one, and normally it is very high efficiency, this kind of things. But I accept that it could be only 90% efficient system. Okay. So in this case, the thermoplunger would be, if we accept that it would be 100%. Okay. And I accept my is only 90%. So if we divide 1 per 0.9, I get 1.11 ratio to get to this 74 watts. So if the thermoplunger would be 100% efficient, we should only need 66.7 watts. Sorry to be complicated, but you will understand what I mean. Okay, so my conclusion is, if the plunger would be 100% efficient, the pure electrical power to maintain the electrolyte at 91.5 degrees Celsius would be 66 point something watts. Okay. But the reactor total power to maintain the electrolyte at 95 watt Celsius would be X watt. But we know that the total power of this reactor is 56 watts. So the power to create the HHO seems to be 21 watts. But I consider that this system is not very efficient as an electrolyzer. So I consider that the half of this 21 watts is lost or is contributing to the heat. So only 10 watts are used for creating the HHO. So we could admit that on the 56 watts here, we can diminish 10 watts. So the real heat needed to get 91.5 degree is 46 watts. Okay, so my result for today on this first experiment, and it is only without my error and omission possibility, the plunger output is 66.7 watts if it would be at 100% without any loss, and the reactor input without any HHO production would be 46 watts. So the excess heat should be 1.45, a cup of 1.45. I hope it could be encouraging. I hope I have not made too much error. I hope you a good night and thanks for watching. Good night at all.